Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is Friday, July 12th. And as always, just like we saw yesterday, Joe Biden is by far the worst president in American history. Patriots, it's great being back with you on this Friday morning. And heck of a day yesterday. Not only did we have a banger of an episode yesterday morning, and don't get me wrong, we will today as well, but Joe Biden's press conference, man, was hard to watch. 8 questions in an hour. The dude only answered 8 questions in an entire hour, which tells you everything you need to know of how much he rambled on. And I think they told him, hey, man, just talk as long as you can. We got to make everybody think that you're okay. So we're going to go over some highlights today. We're going to go over some breaking news. We got illegal immigration news. AT&T got hacked. The economy's just spiraling down where businesses are going out. We got all sorts of stuff for you today, folks. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Leave us a comment down below. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be FJB. Supports the show nonetheless. So why don't we jump into it? There was some breaking news this morning. I wanted to make sure I get it out to all of you that AT&T had a massive data breach where they announced that it occurred in 2022, affected nearly all of its cellular customers. The breach involved the unauthorized access and download of call and text records from a third-party cloud platform, Snowflake. No, we're not talking about the Democrats here. The stolen data includes phone numbers, call and text records, and some location-related data. AT&T is set to notify affected customers about the breach. Folks, it was 2 years ago. You're just now letting me know? You're just now telling me this? Pretty wild stuff there, but I want to make sure I get it out to everybody that uses AT&T or possibly maybe a data network that's connected to it. Wild stuff there. It just goes to show you, folks, you got to be more secure. Make sure you get a VPN or something like that while you're perusing the interwebs. Things are only becoming more sophisticated and less secure, let me tell you. Well, speaking of things becoming more sophisticated, the Biden administration is having outlets now edit their records. And this is something that we did while we were waiting for Joe Biden to show up to his own press conference, which he was an hour late for. Wisconsin radio station edits his interview. Now, I want to be clear on something here. Jen Psaki also came out and said, look, this is not a normal thing. And the Biden administration's acting like, it's a normal thing to do. No big deal here. No, that's fine. Just edit what he said. Everything in this administration is scripted. It's fabricated. It's not real. And so we covered this yesterday, and we covered what parts of the interview were cut out. And I don't want to say it was a drastic deal. One of them was talking about, hiring black people in his campaign and his cabinet. He's hired the most black people out of any president and all presidents combined. That was one of them. And then the other edit was just honestly him rumbling and rambling. I don't even know what the hell he was trying to say. And that's probably why they cut that one out. But this whole administration, it's slowly coming out that everything is scripted. We said yesterday, you are basically watching the Truman Show of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is living in his own Truman Show where everybody around him is actors and fabricated. There was a question proposed yesterday about his sleeping patterns and how he goes to bed before 8. And he looked completely dumbfounded. He's like, what are you talking about? My accommodations and my sleeping, like as if he had no clue. So he also admitted the fact that his campaign staffers, and we called this out in real time, he goes, well, they just talk too much. They put too much out there. So you're going to blame a lot of this stuff on your staff? You wouldn't have to blame your staff if you would just come out and talk to people. There was a whole uproar in the fact that he was doing a press conference yesterday. Like I said, I was calling for it for the last 3 years, and it wasn't as big boy as we thought it would be. But we'll get to it. Don't worry, folks. We'll get to the press conference that we all watched yesterday and what's going on today with the news. So there's an update here with Luna Paulina's, I don't even know what you would call it, throwing Merrick Garland into jail, which they're not going to do. So since they didn't put him in jail, she wanted to find another avenue here, and that was to fine him $10,000 a day. And, well, Republicans don't have a freaking spine. So this is the update on that one. As you can tell from my reaction, I'm not too stoked about what happened here. On Thursday, the GOP-led House shot down an effort to use its rarely employed contempt power against Attorney General Merrick Garland. I'm telling you, Republicans just don't have a freaking backbone, man. For refusing to share audio from the classified document probe against President Joe Biden. 4 Republicans and 206 Democrats voted against the resolution, which sought to fine Garland $10,000 a day until he stopped defying a subpoena for the tapes. It's just remarkable how, when a Republican does this, he's currently in prison right now. And I'm talking about Bannon. And if a Democrat does this, nothing happens to them. It's such a 2-tier justice system. It's a remarkable thing how consistently we see everything happen to Republicans. Nothing ever happens to Democrats. It is a remarkable fucking thing. I mean, if you go from the Clintons to the Obamas to the Bidens compared to the Trumps, Trump, I've always said Trump doesn't pay a parking ticket on time. There's a grand jury. I've also said that Trump has to be one of the cleanest people you've ever seen in your life. The fact that the dude has the entire United States government coming down on him and they got him on a paperwork misfiling, that's really what they got him on. He filed a legal expense wrong, according to them. That's it. Dude, they've gone down on this guy so hard that they actually sat there and rifled through Melania Trump's underwear drawer just to find anything on this guy. They've raided his houses. They've looked at his financials. They looked at his tax documents over the last 7 years. They looked at every single thing of this guy, and that's what they got him on was, well, you allegedly had some sort of hush money payment and you paid off your lawyer as an expense to a legal expense. Yeah, it's a fucking lawyer, of course. But, Merrick Garland sits there and doesn't, sit there and follow a subpoena. Nothing happens to him, but if your name's Bannon and you're part of the Republican Party, you go to fucking jail. Yeah, for months. Great. Nice job, Republicans, you idiots. God, the lawmakers who broke ranks included, here's the nut job. So if you live in these states and you're damn right, I'll call, maybe I'll give John a call today. Dave, Mike, Tom, and John. 2 of them are from California, freaking idiots. So Anna Paulina Luna, who we love here, introduced the resolution and said she planned to try again in the future. Republican bills went down today. We will bring the vote back to the floor with legislative appropriations when members are here. So I don't know why they're not there. I guess Congress is out of session or some shit. But all in all, I think he should be thrown in the brig or fined $10,000 a day. Look, it goes both ways. And Republicans don't have a backbone. So typical. As we always do, folks, let's take a pause and give a shout out to those that are in the live chat. Pat, I see you. We got Agent 355 hooking us up today. Autumn is here. His servant, good to see you. Magic Stick, nice to see you in the live chat as well. We got Stacy, Michelle, Neil, Brandy, Fallen Angels are here. We got Take America Back. I always love that tag. Gary, Snowflake Nightmare. Anna Martinez is here. Good morning. Thank you for speaking truth. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. No weapon formed against us shall not prosper in Jesus' mighty name. Amen to that. Love that. Danielle Slater's here. Over at Rumble, we got Shibby. We got our boy Shib. Dizzy and Deaf. Another fellow patriot that we love here on the Paul Brad Show. David Prince is here. We got Patriotic Troll. Patriotic Troll, that is a good move staying over at Rumble, my friend. With the stuff that you write in the chat, yeah. YouTube hates you. But we love you. Paul Wells is here. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody, folks. Miriam here. Miriam gave me a follow on Twitter yesterday. I saw you, Miriam. I saw you. Well, that's not the only news we have today. We got a lot of stuff prepared for this Friday. Joe Biden's claiming the economy's doing great, you guys. Everything's doing fine. Businesses are flourishing. He's going to sit there and make sure the wealthy pay their fair share. All the psycho stuff he said yesterday. Well, Big Lots is expected to close. Big Lots expects to close dozens of stores, companies, future in doubt. How many articles have we done like this in the last 3 to 4 years now under this Biden regime where REI's closing shop, In-N-Out's getting out of Oakland, this or that. I mean, the smash and grabs are putting businesses out or they're moving to other places like red states. So Big Lots here expects to close 35 to 40 stores this year, according to the SEC. Company leaders said inflation and their inability to compete under economic pressures have led to a substantial doubt in their ability to continue. Weird. Because just yesterday, we were all there in the press conference. Just yesterday, Biden said everything was great. Look what he could do. He just needs another 3 years to figure it out. Like, dude, if you haven't figured out now, like, I get there are some long-term goals, long-term plans, but those long-term goals and plans can't be your entire administration. They can't be like, oh, well, I came in thinking I'd have 8 years. Joe, nobody that you know around you or on the globe thinks that you had 8 years in you. Nobody did. All of us thought you didn't even have 4 years. I mean, we still have time on that one, but we still think, hey, man, it's a toss-up. We tune into these press briefings because we think something disastrous is going to happen. Big Lots has nearly 1,400 stores throughout the country. It's not clear which stores could close. Big Lots did not immediately reply to request for more information. But again, I have it highlighted there for you. What was the main part of that article? The fact that they couldn't compete under economic pressures and inflation. And Joe's going to be like yesterday, inflation's down. Actually, I should do it like this, right? Inflation's down. His bug eye. Did we not call it? Were we not ahead of it, folks? Did we not show before of, hey, this is what he looked like an hour before the press briefing, and here's what he looks like now? All bug eye, just blitzed out of his mind. Oh, it's like 5 years ago, I told Israel this. And it's like, Jesus, man. He's not with us, folks. He's not even with himself. I don't know what the hell was going on with Joe yesterday, but God, he was rambling like no other. I mean, it got to the point, like some of his answers were like 5-6 minutes long. And even I'm sitting back going, what was the question again? Like, what happened? Like, what the hell's going on? We got a lot of new people following us yesterday. Couldn't be more happy than to have you fine patriots with us here. We got a lot of people on YouTube and Twitter. It's Friday's episode. Normally, did I just see that correctly? Dizzy and Death, $100? Did you mean to put $10 in, brother? I think you put an extra 0 in there. Holy shit. Almost had a heart attack. Happy Friday, Trump 2024. Love your show, Brad. Keep rocking. Thank you so much, man. You are single-handedly keeping the lights on here. Thank you so much. Holy lordy. No, really. I mean, that took my breath away, dude. I couldn't see that correctly. Damn. Thank you. That is by far the biggest donation we've ever had here on the show, man. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate that. I almost spit out my coffee, too. Holy lordy. We got to keep going. Then Dizzy and Dev says, the show's going on. So what's the alternative here then? Because Joe had for him, it was a good press conference. I had to admit it, right? Yesterday, gave you my lunch money for the week. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Look, Joe had a good press conference for him. Now, that doesn't mean much because the bar was so low, right? But he looked a lot better than he did on the debate, and that's what they needed. But the conversation's still circling around, well, who's the alternative here if something happens to him or he's just not going to be actually who Democrats put forward or he drops out? Well, Jen Psaki says Kamala Harris is the best alternative to Biden, but worries America's too sexist and racist. So here we go. It's just, it's like Democrats still push this whole racism thing as if Barack Obama was never president. As if there wasn't black people in cabinets, as if, there's not a vice president that's black, it really boggles the mind that it's like, oh, too sexist and racist. It wasn't Hillary Clinton running for president. Wasn't Kamala Harris running for president. Like, there's women running for president. It has nothing to do with sex. It's I know I'm preaching to the choir here, folks. I know you get it, but it's just, you try to wrap your head around this stuff. And Democrats listen to this, go, yeah, they're racist, man. America's sexist and racist. If we're so racist, why is the world trying to immigrate to our country? Why would you immigrate to a country that hates you? It doesn't make sense to me. So Jen Psaki declared Vice President Kamala Harris is the best candidate to replace President Biden. And the reason why I want to bring this news up to you was we were ahead of it yesterday where I told you there was rumors, and not rumors, it is happening, that they're doing polling right now, the Biden campaign, secretly to see how Kamala Harris would do against Donald Trump. And that's why that question was proposed yesterday in that big boy press conference of, well, if Kamala Harris shows that she's polling better than you, will you drop out of the race? And he didn't say necessarily no. He said, if he thought that he couldn't win, then he would do so. You have former Biden Flack made the point during a Wednesday interview on Pod Save America, singing Harris's praises as a campaigner and a communicator. Really? The lady that does the word salad that is cringy as hell and has the cackle, she's not a good communicator. She's a terrible person. She ran the state of California into the ground the same way Gavin Newsom is. And her poll numbers sucked the majority of the presidency in terms of Joe Biden being in office. So I don't know where the hell they're getting this from, but she's a terrible candidate. Terrible candidate. She's transitioning, yeah. So let's get to the big news of the day, and that was Biden's disastrous performance at the press conference yesterday. In normal terms, it was a disaster and utter failure, and that's why we put that in the thumbnail. It was cringy as hell. It was hard to watch. The dude said some wild things, not just during this press conference, but he called Zelensky Putin in front of NATO, you guys, in front of everybody. It was, dude, that type of gaffe is just, that one is probably up there in the top 3. The reason why I say that is you have a guy that's invading another country that's massacring hundreds of thousands of people, and the guy sits there and calls you that evil dude. As I said, it would be like FDR saying Churchill was Hitler after Hitler just got done freaking carpet bombing London. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's just insane. Democrats are like, he's fit to hold office. Don't worry, we'll get to, whoa, we got the clips for you. Don't worry, folks. We got the clips of the spokespeople coming out. He's fit, he's sharp, he's ready to go. He's on top of it. So Biden struggled during what his administration dubbed as his big boy press conference. Now, I was told that there wasn't supposed to be teleprompters, that this was all going to be, big boy stuff. No, there was teleprompters. You all saw my reaction, like, what the hell? Why is he reading from a teleprompter? Why does he have a speech prepared? And then he had a note card with a list of reporters' names on it. Then why have everybody show up? Why have the entire White House press corps show up to your big boy conference if you're just going to sit there and flip them off at the end of the day and not even let them get their questions in? Why waste their time? Maybe they wanted to be with their families, Joe. Maybe they wanted to do, I don't know, fucking anything else other than sit in that room and watch you ramble for an hour on 8 questions that were layups. Not to mention he kept looking down at his binder, right? Because he had this stuff probably pre-vetted. Look, I did ask. We always say this. We do have contacts in the room. We do know White House reporters. I did ask for all of us last night. I did request this. Hey, were these questions given to him ahead of time? Was the exact question. I was told no, they weren't given to him ahead of time. Now, is that true? Not really sure. I take my contact's word for it. He's one of the best, so take it for what you will. But let's look at some clips here. So the first one here is, with that, I'll take questions. I've been given a list of people to call on. Now, the list of people who did this was probably Karine Jean-Pierre and her team. And these are reporters that tend to be friendly to the Biden administration. So you wouldn't know this if you didn't watch every White House press briefing. Like all of us do here together, these people were very familiar, and none of them were technically mainstream outlets. There's a couple here, but they were friendly outlets. So here's the list of questions.
With that, I'll take your questions. I've been given a list of people to call on here. Reuters, Jeff Mason.
Oh, man, it's so cringy. It is so freaking cringy. So he has the list, and he called, I don't even know how to phrase this because it's so crazy. He called Kamala Harris Trump. So he referred to as Trump as his vice president. And so we have a different camera angle that we didn't see yesterday of Blinken, Austin, Jake Sullivan, and watch their reactions on this clip, you guys. So not only are you going to hear Joe Biden's failure, but watch their reactions here. Oh my God, it's hard to watch. Here we go.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president because I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one, the fact is that the consideration is...
That dude in the middle, look at, they're fucking stunned. Oh, shit. Shit. We still got an hour. Fuck. This is the best clip. This is why we started off, boys and girls. Woo! So, can we just watch it again, please? Because the oh shit, yes, their asses cringed. You were absolutely correct. Karine, Jean-Pierre, they're all looking down like, fuck, don't look around. Don't make any sudden movements. The dude in the middle couldn't help himself.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Look at the guy in the middle.
Let's start there.
Fucking freaking out.
Number one. The fact is that the consideration is...
I love how some people are just like, you're sitting there. You know, dude. You know they're fucking freaking out. Like, how are you going to clean that one up, Karine? Look at her. Can we just go back to Karine's face? She just looks down. Look at.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President
Watch
Trump
her look down.
to be vice president. I think
Make a note on that, Karine. You have to fix that later. Make the note. Come on.
There.
Look down. There you go.
Number
Yep.
one.
She has a gaggle today on Air Force One. Audio only. I'm sure she'll be questioned on it. So, hey, you know, why did Joe Biden call Trump vice president? Can you explain that one to me? It's just, how could she explain all these things? He's sharp, you guys. He's fit. He ain't fit. He ain't sharp either. He doo-dooed his diaper. So this was also the big news yesterday, where Biden freaks out at a reporter for asking him about referring to Zelensky as President Putin. You guys, dude, this was the biggest gaffe yesterday. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's bad enough that you're calling Trump vice president, like your own vice president, but it's another thing again to call Zelensky Putin. Like, as he's standing on the stage in front of NATO, it wasn't like nobody else was in the room, just him and reporters. NATO.
To ask you about your, you mixed up Presidents Zelensky and Putin earlier today. And you now have sort of your key allies, including the British Prime Minister, the President of France, the German Chancellor having to step in and make excuses for you on that. Officials here are saying off the record that your decline has become noticeable. Hasn't this now, frankly, become damaging for America's standing in the world? Thank you.
Did you see any damage to our standing in my leading this conference? Have you seen a more successful conference? What do you think? And
sorry, stop, Joe, stop. Have you seen any more successful presidents than me? Oh, Jesus, dude, get off the podium.
The Putin piece, I was talking about Putin, and I said, and now, at the very end, I said, here, I mean, Putin. I said, oh, no, I'm sorry, Zelensky. And then I added 5 other names. Look, guys, the idea anybody suggests that we haven't had an incredibly successful conference. How many times did you hear in that conference, I know it sounds too self-serving, but other leaders, heads of state, in thanking me, saying the reason we're together is because of Biden. Because Biden.
Joe, they're thanking you because you're sending them billions of dollars. They would lick the crud between your toes with their mouths if they could, Joe. You're paying for their defense. Why would they not be thankful? We're sending billions of dollars to this country that's going to their education, their military. They're spending 2% of their GDP, if we're lucky, on NATO, Joe. We're their own. Of course they're going to be thankful, Joe. Of course they're going to love you. I would love you too if you're paying my bills, paying my electricity bills, building up my infrastructure, sending us military-grade equipment. No, I'd be thankful too. So Biden laughs in a reporter's face for asking why he said he needs to stop scheduling events after 8 p.m. because he's too tired. And this is what I talked about before, because he goes, he needs to pace himself. But then later on, he says that he shouldn't pace himself, that he would step down if he had to do so. Dude, it was confusing as hell, because in the same answer, he contradicts himself. Let's see if it shows the full clip here, but here's the clip nonetheless.
You say you'll be up for that next year, in 2 years, in 4 years, given the limits you've acknowledged that you have today.
The limits I've acknowledged I have.
That part right there tells me everything I needed to know, because I think that was a sincere reaction where the reason why it's kind of something I learned from Judge Judy is when somebody looks to the left or right, they're trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about, or they're lying. It could be one or the other. But through his body language, it tells me that there's a huge miscommunication between what he's being told and what his staffers or his communications department are saying. So I think he was being sincere here of like, what the hell are you talking about? But it could be a lie as well.
The limits I've acknowledged I have.
There's been reporting that you've acknowledged that you need to go to bed earlier and your evening around 8.
That's not true. Look, what I said was, instead of my every day starting at 7 and going to bed at midnight, it'd be smarter for me to pace myself a little more. And I said, for example,
that part's a lie. We know for a fact this dude's sleeping during the day. I mean, his own aides have come out and said so. There's been leaks all over the White House regarding this guy sleeping. And, Joe, we could see the CPAP machine marks on your face, man.
8, 7, 6 stuff. Instead of starting a fundraiser at 9 o'clock, start at 8 o'clock. People get to go home by 10 o'clock. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's about the people, you guys. It's about the people.
And if you look at my schedule since I made that stupid mistake in the campaign, in the debate, I mean, my schedule has been full bore.
How can you say you'll be up?
Well, since I made the mistake, I needed to show everybody that I'm somewhat coherent. So all of a sudden I started doing my job. Why were you not doing this the last 3.5 years, Joe? Why were you not doing press conferences like this the last 3.5 years? And I would still love a unvetted press conference where he just takes questions from the press, but he won't do it because it's all covered up. It's all scripted, you guys. It's all fake. It's all foozery. I mean, him to say that he sits there and works from 7 a.m. to midnight is insane. And then he's going to go out and go, well, what I meant was maybe we should just start doing our campaign rallies, at 8 o'clock. Why don't you just do them like Donald Trump does? And at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, if you're so concerned about people getting home early enough. It's not about other people, Joe. It's about you. It always has been about you. And right now it still is about you. Somebody made the comment yesterday in the live chat. He kept saying, I. And it's true. It's all about Joe. It always has been about Joe, and it still is about Joe. So there's that little lovely gem. And here's where he contradicts himself. So he just got done saying, oh, well, I just need to slow down a little bit. But then he goes on to say, if I slow down, I can't get this job done. So what do we bring, folks? Pat knows. What do we always bring? We bring the receipts, folks. So here's Joe Biden, the horse's mouth, saying it himself.
Slow down, I can't get the job done. That's a sign that I shouldn't be doing it. But there's no indication of that yet. None.
Folks, we just listened to him 1 minute ago say that he needs to slow down. This is the guy that we're dealing with, man. This is the guy that can't even stay awake to run the country. That's why everything's burning to the ground. And it's astonishing that he had the balls to say this. He said foreign policy has never been President Trump's strong point. But there was peace for 4 years under Donald Trump. What the hell are you talking about?
Foreign policy has never been his strong point.
Oh, man. So that was going on. There's a lot more clips of yesterday, folks. But we'll kind of save you listening to it. So his spokespeople are coming out of the woodworks. Okay. You've seen this lady before. And she says that there is no cover-up surrounding Biden's obvious cognitive decline, and that we're just obsessing over it, you guys. It's just all an obsessive. Remember, these are all cheap fakes and deep fakes that we see. Him with all these gaffes, calling just yesterday Zelensky Putin, or Trump his vice president. Like, all these, they're all fake. Everything we showed you just about, for the last 10 minutes, none of it was real. Brad sat on his computer all night and ran software to create all these deep fake facial imagery, download all his audio, and concoct all this stuff to make this charade and shit show for the viewers. It's unbelievable. They've actually pushed this messaging. So here she is.
Because there's an obsession in the media that he should step aside, and he's simply not going to. I mean, Willie, who else do we know, frankly, in Congress, currently serving right now, who could get up on that stage last night at a press conference for nearly an hour and talk about a wide range of policy issues, from foreign policy issues, complex foreign policy issues, by the way, to the economy. Because there's an
you know, if this lady looks familiar, this is what she said on June 5th. This is the same lady.
I can tell you that he is sharper than ever. And again, I want to go back and really underscore the fact that his record is very strong. He's achieved more as president than at least the past 4 to 5 presidents before him. You cannot get that done if you don't have all of your faculties about.
She couldn't even get out of her mouth. She couldn't even get out of her mouth. That's the same lady. We're obsessing over it, you guys. Have you ever seen anybody stand up there for an hour and answer 8 questions? Yeah, I do that every day in my job. I answer more than 8 questions. I answer hundreds of questions, and not only that, I have to perform complicated mathematical questions in my head and be able to spot out people's mistakes in less than 3 seconds. Now, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, but I'm just saying, like, anybody could sit there and answer, well, they're complicated foreign policy questions. What did he say in any of his rambling yesterday that was complicated? I'll tell you what was complicated. Trying to follow the president's thoughts. That was complicated. Trying to connect together what the hell he was saying that connected to the question. I mean, look, usually it's pretty easy going like, yeah, you know, hey, that's not the answer to the question. But dude started rambling for like 5-6 minutes at a time. Again, it was an hour press briefing. He answered only 8 questions. I mean, you can do the math on that one and how long he took to answer basic questions. You don't know what the hell he's doing. So here's campaign co-chair Jim Clyburn claims Biden's obvious cognitive decline is just him still working out to overcome his stutter. It's not a stuttering problem, man.
Who are real close watchers of Joe Biden. We do know that he sometimes mangle words and phrases, but all of that is almost natural for people who grew up stuttering, and they do focus a little more. And when you focus a little more, you tend to lose the flow.
But you're not saying that what we've seen from this president over the last few weeks is just a function of him stuttering. I mean, it's more than that.
He doesn't stutter now. He is still working to overcome the stuttering of his childhood. Those of us who are...
It's just... Folks, really, people believe this. This is the wild thing. They believe it. That's just a stuttering deficiency. Look, he did have one. I'm not discrediting that. And kudos to Joe Biden for overcoming that. That is not an easy thing to overcome, and I don't want to take that away from him by any means. But this is not a stuttering problem. Maybe slightly some of it has been, like these gaffes here and there, but to sit there and push that, it just shows you how disingenuous these people are, and honestly how evil and disgusting they are. Well, it's a stuttering problem. No, it isn't. So he was pressed on, is this the same Joe Biden that we saw 2 years ago? And here's his response, and he's pressed on it.
Is this the same Joe Biden that we saw 2 years ago?
Well, look, I grew up...
Is it the same Joe Biden?
No.
Is this the same...
I just... Motherfucker, no, it ain't shit. Oh, I love it. Of course it isn't. There's people out there that think it's literally not Joe. We talked about it yesterday, kind of a conspiracy theory that, you know, somebody's getting like a mask on their face and going up pretending they're Joe. Because Joe's face does look a little bit tighter. I don't know if it's the makeup they're putting on the guy or what, but Joe's face is looking a lot tighter than it has in recent days. And so that's what they're pushing. That's the craziness of it all. And before we jump further into the news, you guys might notice I shaved up a little bit, right? I made my my face look a little bit cleaner. And how did we do that, folks? How did we do that? Well, we sat there and we used Rumble products. If you haven't already, you got to check out Rumble. Rumble is the one that's taking care of us. YouTube is not. YouTube is trying to drive us right into the ground, folks. So make sure you are hitting that like and subscribe button, or I guess follow over at Rumble, folks. If you haven't checked out Patriot Razors, make sure you do so. It does help support the show, and it helps support great outlets like Rumble that take care of us over here. So make sure you check that out. Reading your guys' live chats over here. We got Girl who waited, PA, thank you for the hearts. Brandy, thank you so much. Russell, I see you there, Russell. It's Obama and white cheese, Russell. Russell, you got to make those comments over at Rumble. You can't be doing that on YouTube. You're going to get us banned. Clean shaven, bald Brad. There are video clips of me clean shaven, folks. But that's Babyface Brad. Babyface. Well, he's here. I see y'all in the live chat, folks. I see you all in the live chat. We're trying to see if maybe we can do a quick sponsor here. Let me see if it will work. If not, then we will press on forward, folks. That is not working for some reason. So let's try this one out. Let's try a Plunder World. Let's see if that works for us. Here we go. So there's Plunder World. Stop playing games. Plunder World trading cards are the blunt force collectible in the culture war. Each card details the people, events, and technology responsible for the state of the world today. Plunder World is a collection of the greatest trading cards ever freaking made. Collect 279 cards detailing history and wake up peers with Plunder World. Get people interested in reading instead of scrolling. Pre-order a box of a series 1 at plunderworld.com. Each box holds 36 foil packs. Damn, they're hooking you guys up. Each pack is 7 cards. All cards are randomly inserted. There are 9 ultra rare cards. Use the special link to enter Rumble at checkout to get 3 extra fail packs. This special is only valid for shipping within the United States, so sorry, Shib. Suck it, brother. You ain't getting the cards. Plunder World is a new twist on trading cards that dares to change collecting forever. Just like the stream you are watching, please support independent media like Plunder World. Continue the support will ensure that most series or more series will follow after that, folks. So get those Plunder cards. That was one of our sponsors today. Greatly appreciate that. So let's continue here with the show. We have Democrats on CNN focus group give Biden positive review of the press conference. Now, you might be thinking there's no way in hell, Brad, that somebody gave a positive review to the press conference. Remember, 21% of the country thought Joe Biden won the debate. Yeah, you heard that correctly. 1/5 of the country thought Joe won. Now, remember, that's just Joe won. There is a good portion of the country as well that thought Joe did pretty damn good. Now, Joe did a lot better during this press conference than he did during the debate. So I think this is not too far off of what Democrats are thinking. And did we not call it? I called it live. That's why I always say we got to be here. We got to be here for the shows because we said, hey, the poll numbers are going to go up. People are going to think Joe did a lot better because look what he did. He didn't drool from a drip tray or into one. So CNN focus group of battleground state Democratic voters offered positive reviews of President Biden following his solo press conference. Oh, man. So CNN's Gary Tuchman, is it Tuchman? Spoke with a group of 7 women at a senior leisure center. No fucking way they went to a leisure center. Do you think they went to the leisure center hoping they'd run into Joe? Is Joe a member here? So they describing them as liking Biden and non-Trump voters. When asked, 5 of them thought that press conference went better than expected. It tells you everything you need to know right there. While 2 thought it was what they expected, none thought he did worse than expected. One woman who was undecided about whether Trump should stay in the race told him that she was relieved by Biden's performance. Oh, thank God he didn't die on the stage. Oh, God, thank you. Oh, so I think he's the logical choice. Jesus. Lady, where's your family? You need support. You need the help. Can somebody email her the link to the Bald Brad show? She needs some truth spoken to her. Holy lordy. I think he's the logical choice, a second woman said, who was also undecided about Biden staying in the race, but threw in her support behind Biden. A third voter who before the press conference thought Biden should pass the torch still felt that way after. Well, somebody has their head on straight, it seems like. I think he conveyed more defensiveness versus confidence. I think we are craving to be able to be confident about the candidate that we carry into the November election. You know who's pretty confident, pretty strong? Donald Trump. The dude stands there, does rallies all across the country. I think Jeff said there's a rally Saturday. Maybe we'll stream that one live. and listen to Donald Trump give a strong speech, because we're not going to see one out of Joe Biden. At the heart of it, he's a strong guy. This is why we read these, right? This is why we do real-time reactions. I save this for the viewers and us to share in this together. He's a strong guy. Falls up a flight of stairs. Yeah, no, super strong. Trips over sandbag at graduation ceremony. Can't get himself back up. Has to have Secret Service help him up. No, he's strong. He's fit, you guys. Did we not say that people believe this? A fifth voter agreed with the sentiment, adding Joe Biden is very caring about people. Lady, everything is up. Minimum 20% since this guy's taken office. He doesn't give two shits about you. He says he will. These people, man. I'm telling you, these people live under a rock. I don't know what they're doing. He cares about the people, you guys. Lady, if he cared about you, he wouldn't sit there and remove your tax cuts, you knucklehead. I'm going to build the economy from the middle out and the bottom up by removing your tax cuts so the middle class gets fucked. Like, yeah, he cares about you. No, this is great. If he cared about you, he wouldn't remove the tax cuts, okay? Everybody saved about 3%. So, like I said, in a matter of, 5 months here, folks, you're going to owe thousands of dollars. Hope you're all ready. Including me. I'm F too. Don't get me wrong. I'm screwed as well. Right? Yeah, the voter responded. I think Joe Biden did an excellent job. I've always been confident. You guys, you are hearing from real Americans. I've always been confident. The guy's killing. He's knocking it out of the park. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm right there with you, folks. I'm right there with you. Spread it everywhere. Say I'll vote Democrat if Harris is on the ticket. Spread it, spread it, spread it. Change the narrative. Make their heads spin. That 25% is Harry Sizz and 1 million followers. Yep. Oh, that guy, that poor kid, man. He's gone. You know, it just shows you some people's brain don't develop till they're, I don't know, maybe 30. Relieved. They're interviewing deaf people, correct? Well, deaf or something else. I don't know. I mean, they went to an old folks home. I mean, they're not trying to be disrespectful to old folks home, but look what Democrats did during COVID to the old folks homes. I mean, they literally threw them into there with COVID and they all died. We're all effed. Yes, Patrick, you are correct. She must have meant she thinks he is. He relieved himself. Tarbox. Of course, Tarbox would say that over at Rumble. He knows where he can get his free speech in. Okay. Where's my phone? I'm playing it. Oh, you guys are freaking great. We have the best community here. Let me tell you. You guys are freaking hilarious. I love it. Okay. So now, one thing we also thought was interesting here was Biden sat there and said that Trump and MAGA supporters, right, if you ever served in the military or you're religious, you're a threat to democracy, you're a terrorist, right? And that we should all be worried about Trump because he's going to come after your First Amendment, Second Amendment rights. He's going to come after the Constitution. He's going to disrupt the country. That's why there's been a lot of conversation about this Project 2025. It's like 900 pages. I'm not even going to read that. I don't have enough time. So they're pushing this whole thing. The funny thing is that we keep mentioning here on the show is that it's Joe Biden that's trying to chisel away at your First Amendment rights. It's Joe Biden that's going after your guns. He just said so yesterday. You have a dude that took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to take away your guns. The bullets are killing the children. It's so funny how all of a sudden he cares about children when it fits his narrative. But when you allow, over 100,000 children to pour across the country and you lose them to sex trafficking, not a peep. Right? Did we not cover the article this week that 85,000 children are missing? That didn't actually go to their relatives when they came into this country, that they were sex trafficked and raped. Joe doesn't care about. I care about the children. They're offing themselves with guns. No, they're not. I mean, that's part of it because some people don't lock up their firearms or whatever, and the kids get a hold of it and all this crazy stuff, which is a terrible thing. But this whole manipulation of data is really wild, and so I bring that up. Because you have here trove of Biden documents. Details how the Department of Homeland Security planned to crack down on conservative voices. Interesting. Paul Bradshaw's part of conservative voices. 62,000 people on YouTube. I don't need to go any further with that. We know how it's working on YouTube. Rumble takes care of us. Rumble takes care of us really well. Just to give you a perspective, I know I say this a lot. We have about 650 followers on Rumble. And we have almost more viewers on Rumble than we do on YouTube. YouTube have 62,000. I think you do the math. YouTube's doing some F-free. That's why we say, got to go over and support Rumble. So, America First Legal made public a trove of documents that reveal a coordinated effort within the Biden administration to crack down on free speech of his political opponents. So funny. It's weird how all that shit works out, isn't it? AFL obtained the documents through legal action against the Department of Homeland Security over its now defunct Homeland Intelligence Experts Group. The group coordinated with an advisory board led by former intelligence officials John Brennan and James Clapper on ways to combat domestic terrorism. This is the same reporting in the same legal organization that sat there and got the documents that we covered about 2-3 weeks ago that said if you're a MAGA supporter, if you've ever served in the military, and we actually called out Neil because I believe Neil served in the military, and then if you're religious, which is basically probably all of us here, you are now deemed a terror risk in your own country, the United States of America, under the Biden administration. They full-fledged think you're a threat to this country, a threat to democracy, a threat to the republic. All the while, we spent years watching Black Lives Matter and Antifa burn down cities with the media going, it's mostly peaceful, as full building skyscrapers were ablaze behind them. Freaking people looting stores left and right. Nothing to see here, folks. Like nothing behind me. You mean that whole store that's ablaze? Billions of dollars of damages. Nobody went to jail. Like I said, nobody went to jail. That's fine. Black Lives Matter stole millions of dollars, ripped on white people, and then decided to buy mansions in predominantly white neighborhoods. Let that one figure out. I mean, if you gave money to Black Lives Matter, man, you were swindled and scammed so hard it's head spinning. And that phrase goes, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. The American people need to read these records and our expose on the Biden administration's efforts to further weaponize the government to achieve their objectives. Oh, yeah. This goes hand in hand with the Twitter files that we saw. This goes hand in hand to the emails that were leaked regarding Twitter files and the communication between the FBI and our intelligence apparatus going after conservative Republicans. You know, using YouTube to sit there and remove conservative Republicans like Dan Bongino off their site. I mean, this has been going on since 2016. This is nothing new, that the Democrat Party has infiltrated the entire government and is working in conjunction with the deep state to go after their political opponents. There's a reason here that, I keep hounding YouTube and there's suppression of speech that we 100% be here. Folks, remember, we showed the video clip of a specialist at YouTube telling us that the viewers were the problem because they didn't have their notification bells turned on. Yeah, well, that's the reason why you get 100 views with 62,000 people. Yeah, makes a lot of fucking sense because the bell notifications weren't turned on. Explain to me why Rumble's taking care of us then. Explain to me. God, I love it, man. Freaking idiots over there. So the American people need to read it, and we will check it out. Now it's up to Congress to stop the Biden administration from further using these same actors to advance their radical agenda at the Department of Homeland Security of Intelligence and Analysis. They're not going to do anything. Congress ain't going to do shit. Republicans aren't even willing to fine Merrick Garland $10,000 a day. So this whole idea that they're going to do something, they're not going to do anything. Republicans don't have a backbone, man. They don't have a backbone. Ship said he has marshmallows. Why are we talking about marshmallows? Am I missing something? What the hell are you guys talking about? AFL has also released documents, again, called the Deep State Diary, so you could check that out on Twitter. Make sure you guys are up to date on what the heck's going on with free speech, because I'm telling you, folks, they're coming after us, and the closer we get to the election, the more and more they don't want that speech to come out. Furthermore, I said I'd keep you up to date on illegal immigration. We said we'd keep you updated on all these stories of these illegal immigrants coming across the border, raping our children, killing women, conducting murders, heinous crimes all across the United States. Well, we got another one here for you, folks. From the Daily Wire, illegal immigrant charged in killing of New Orleans woman. I mean, how many have we done? I mean, we could probably legitimately do this every day, for sure, every week. But remember, Joe Biden cares about the people. You saw an elderly lady say it from a leisure home. He cares about us. Oh, he talks about your kitchen table issues all the time. He sits around the table and forgets your name. Doesn't even know who the hell you are, but he cares about you. Wants to increase your taxes. wants you to be outcompeted by a whole job sector here of illegal immigrants pouring across the border, buying up the homes, increasing the demand and supply of certain things. Yeah, no, this is great. I mean, 35 million people here illegally, and to say that it has no effect on supply and demand is insane to me. Absolutely insane. The illegal immigrant was among those charged in killing a 43-year-old woman in New Orleans. Oh, lovely. This 19-year-old, remember, he's just here for a better life, you guys. He was here fleeing persecution. He was here just fleeing the global warming that's taking place. No, it's not my words. That comes from Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris said that these people are coming across the border when she sat there and visited El Salvador and Honduras like 3 years ago. They're just fleeing persecution and global warming. There's famine and drought happening. That's the only reason they're here. This guy, no, come on. He's just looking for work. From Honduras, there you go, was one of the 3 individuals charged in the June 30th murder of Christy. I can't pronounce that last name. Forgive me. It looks French, though. A tour guide in the French court of New Orleans. It almost seems like I read this beforehand. I promise you I didn't. This individual, this psycho, was also arrested in connection to the murder and charged with second-degree murder and attempted armed robbery. What's he robbing for? Huh, weird. I was told all these people are good by the Democrat Party. Wait, hold on, guys. Live chat. Weren't you guys told by Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, every Democrat out there, these people should be allowed to let in? They just want a better life. That's all. No, we should let this guy go. Come on. What are we locking him up for, guys? Really? Why are we locking up this individual? No. He needs a job. Come on, man. Yeah, there you go. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Joe has our best interest out for him. This guy just needs work. You guys, anybody want to employ this guy? We got to help him. Huh. Weird. He is now being held on a $1.1 million bond. Isn't that crazy that some of these people have a lower bond than Donald Trump did? Just saying. People came here illegally, raped and castrated women and chopped the bodies up into pieces and, pulled out their teeth, wore it as necklaces, all these things. And their bond is lower than Donald Trump's. And Donald Trump just, paid as a lawyer and charged it as a legal expense and, grand jury. Weird. Merrick Garland doesn't turn over records, even though he was subpoenaed and told so by Congress. Nothing happens to him. Bannon does the same thing. He's locked up right now. He's in federal prison. Weird. Huh. So Immigrations and Custom Enforcement, ICE, confirmed that this person illegally entered the United States. The Venezuelan national had a number of interactions with law enforcement. Oh, great. Yeah, we met with him on a weekly basis, and we just kept him here. Oh, this is awesome. Border Patrol released him into the country May of 2019 while he awaited his deportation hearing. Huh. That's weird because the Biden administration is giving people hearings 7 years in the future, in some cases up to 10 years. No idea who these people are. Don't even know if it's their real name. Then in October 2023, he was arrested in Louisiana for theft. Oh, well, what'd they do? Oh, well, he was arrested again in February 2024 for another theft. Oh, oh, wow, great job. No, awesome job. Not deporting this guy whatsoever. Huh, wow. Kevin Nunez, the man accused of killing this young lady, I mean, she was 43, she was young, had an active warrant out for his arrest at the time of the shooting and was wearing an ankle monitor that had been deactivated. Well, why would he do that? He's a good person. You let him in the country. You didn't deport him after the first theft. What in God's green earth would you expect to happen? He's a good kid. No, he's 19. He's just looking for a better life. He was only 15 when he'd previously been found guilty in juvenile court of 7 counts of aggravated assault, illegal possession of a handgun, and domestic battery. No, right here. Hey, he's just a dreamer. Come on, guys. No, he's a dreamer. He's just dreaming. He wants to, live the American dream. He's here for a better life. Don't tell me he isn't. The Biden administration tell me this person here is just looking for work. He just wants a better life. This is who Democrats are allowing to vote, folks. They're allowing this to happen in our country. They're allowing this to happen in our country. And I'm bringing you the receipts. It's not me making this shit up, right? Everybody can see it with their own eyes. Their own eyes. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Our country's going down the freaking drain with Joe Biden in office. And I'm telling you, you're going to get another 4 years of this. The polls are so freaking close that it could go any direction right now. Scary freaking time we live in, man. Scary time. If you're just joining us, folks, we are the Bald Brad Show. We're bringing the latest and greatest news here. She brought so much joy and just entertainment to tourists that were visiting the city. I mean, it's terrible stuff. She was the life of the party and a mother hen all in one. She took care of all the people on her tours. She wanted people to see New Orleans in their best light, and that asshole took it away from her. Joe Biden allowed it to happen because he doesn't want to sit there and figure out the border. This is why these people need to be deported, folks, because we don't know who they are. We don't know if they actually want to assimilate into our country. We don't know if they want to commit heinous crimes. And as we mentioned, the source comes from the CIA themselves, that there's thousands of terrorists, not hundreds, thousands of terrorists in the country present time. They've never seen anything like it. This comes from FBI Director Christopher Wray. Said, we saw alarm bells for 9/11. This exceeds that. He said that it's unprecedented. Never seen nothing like it. It's more than alarm bells. There's sirens going off. There's air raids going off. Something's going to happen, you guys. I hope it doesn't. I pray to God it doesn't. And Democrats need to wake up to that fact, because they're going to be responsible, and so is Joe Biden, for these terror attacks. And I hate to even say it because it's the terrorists that are actually responsible, but the fact that they're not willing to do the job and basically elect a guy into office that's not willing to uphold the Constitution and carry out the laws that are on the books, meaning the executive branch, tells you everything you need to know about this party, and the fact that they're allowing these people to illegally vote. Remember, House passed the SAVE Act, which basically allows, it gives authorization, and basically you have to show proof of citizenship before you vote and register to vote. The other day, a lot of us checked out our own states in terms of our registration to vote. I think it was Sunset that sent the email saying, well, I live in Arizona. I think based on what I'm seeing, illegals can vote. You are correct. Yeah. Texas and California, we went over to that all together here on the Bald Brad Show. This is what's going on in our country. And we got an election coming up and nothing's being done about it. So the SAVE Act did pass the House, and there was 5 Democrats that actually voted in favor of it, which is great. But you're going to need Democrats to sit there and cross the aisle in the Senate. I don't think they're going to do it because they want it, they need to win. And the way to do that is to have 30 million people vote illegally on your behalf. And remember, these people don't even have to go to the polls, you guys. Again, we covered this. They do not have to go to the polls to vote. It's merely printing off the ballot itself, sending it to somebody else that votes on their behalf. And then, like we saw that CNN clip yesterday of just stuffing the ballot box with a bunch of ballots. So it's amazing how they go, oh, there's no voter fraud. You don't have any evidence of it. And then we just pull up the clip from CNN Live of a lady stuffing a ballot box. Like, of course we see it. Don't give me this. Don't give me this. So unbelievable that they pretend like this stuff isn't happening. Isn't it wild, you guys? It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Wild stuff happening over here. I'm reading your guys' live chats. I'm reading you. I see you there. Crazy stuff going on. Crazy stuff. Well, folks, if you haven't already, we are on Rumble. We are not done with the show yet here, but make sure that you head over to the Rumble app so you can download it and search for my channel and follow us directly on the app. This will make sure that you get notifications. It's not like YouTube. Rumble actually notifies you the second we go live, and that's why I say head over there so you know whenever we go live, even if it's like a sporadic live that we do, you'll be updated if you download the link in the description or the pinned live chat to get the app itself on your phone. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay for anything whatsoever. And some of you do watch the show. I could see it on my analytics on the big screen. So it's also available on Apple TV, the Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, LG, Samsung, all that stuff. All you need to do is search for Rumble and to download the app. I use it myself. I have it on my phone. It's freaking phenomenal. So make sure you give them the support and check us out. We would absolutely love for your support over there. Live chat says no room in the jails. They are full. We got to build more. I mean, that's the problem, right? And now we're getting into some kind of deep territory here of when you have a society that's not religious, you tend to lose values. And I don't mean that you have to be religious to have values, right? There's a lot of atheist people that are more charitable than actual religious people are, and in some cases live out a moral life than religious people. But when you have a republic and a democracy that is built on the idea of having a moral society, when that starts to crumble, so does your democracy and republic. And one way you can actually tell that that's taking place is that you have to keep enacting more laws to keep people more moral, which is a very interesting dynamic. Because you wouldn't need all these laws, because the laws wouldn't be being broken if people were having a moral society. So the more laws in place, the least moral the society is. And the more laws in place is the less freedoms and liberties you have, which in tune turns into the fact of the less democracy and republics you have, and then you have something that falls apart. And so this goes into the whole idea that our liberties and freedoms are slowly being chiseled away, and that's why it's very uncommon, and we're considered an outlier of a democracy, in other words, also a republic, to be lasting as long as we did. It's only a matter of time, based on what we've seen so far, that the United States will crumble in terms of what the freedoms and liberties are being offered right now. I hate to say it, you guys, but that's not just echoed by me. That's also echoed by my number one guy, Thomas Sowell himself, okay? So who's way smarter than me, but that's where I see this country heading. It's the real question is how do we delay it? That's really honestly the actual answer. It's not a matter of if America will fall. It will. The matter is when it will happen, and how long can we delay it? So, and you're seeing it in real time. And that's my real belief, by the way. My Rumble app on TV says it no longer exists and won't let me reinstall it from the store. I am going to reset the TV later. It could just be that either you need to update your TV, or maybe that outlet just didn't get a connection with them. I don't know if Dylan's maybe in the chat. Dylan is our number one guy. He's on Rumble. Maybe Dylan can look into that. I'm not sure. Not sure. Rumble's still growing, you guys. You gotta, and I give Rumble a lot of slack. They're still growing. Remember, they're competing with a billion-dollar company called Google. So we give them some slack here, and quite frankly, they're taking care of us. So, and it's been great so far. We love working with them. Now, in other news here, with illegal immigration, Ohio cities begging for federal help to house illegal migrants. It's just so wild that we're even talking about this. You know, we have veterans living on the streets. We have Americans living on the streets. Why not have the conversation about housing them? I'm just saying, if like, I would rather see a ton of news about that than I would about housing illegal immigrants. So the city of Springfield, Ohio is begging for federal help with a housing crisis caused by a surge of illegal migrants. I was told this wasn't happening. We covered it yesterday. No, I actually showed the receipts yesterday. I was told this wasn't happening by a lot of people in the comment section. No, Brad, how would they can't buy homes. Really, because we showed programs where they're getting assistance for buying homes. What are you talking about? No, you are now competing against the globe to buy a home. I mean, it's already happening, right, with BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard. It's already happening where these corporations are buying up your homes, causing the price to go up and inflating it. City manager Brian Heck on Monday sent an urgent letter to senators. Both Brown and Scott asked for federal aid. The city manager explained that Springfield is struggling to accommodate 20,000 new migrants from Haiti. You guys, Texas saw 20,000 in a 24-hour period for years. And you have Ohio can't even take care of 20,000. This is very reminiscent of like Chicago, DC, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington. You know, they get like 16,000, 20,000. They start complaining, right? Filing states of emergency, asking for, assistance on their end. It's wild stuff. It really is wild stuff. We got Big Dog with the $5. Good morning, Brad. Good morning, fellow Patriots. Give a shout out to Big Dog in the chat. And don't forget to give a shout out to Dizzy Def in the chat as well. He donated $100 too. Not to bring it down, Big Dog. We love the $5. Thank you so much, man. It does actually help tremendously. Thank you so much. Give a shout out to Dizzy and Def and Big Dog and all the members as well. We got a lot of Patriots here. We love you guys. You're keeping the lights on for us. Quite literally keeping the lights on. Springfield's Haitian population has increased 15 to 20,000 over the last 4 years in the community of just under 60,000. Oh my. What? Whoa, hold on a second. The community, you're telling me that like more than 25%, like 40% of the community is made up of illegal immigrants? What? That's insane. Thank you so much for the $5. Great show. Thanks. Hey, chat. We see ya. I gotta start liking these. I keep forgetting that I can do this. I'm still learning myself here. Still learning myself. Yeah, such a great community, man. This is awesome. Look at all these people. We got a lot of people watching. A lot of people. That's wild though. So maybe they do need the aid. Maybe they do. The city is set to have 2,000 more housing units over the next 3 to 5 years. Remember, California built that like skyscraper full of units that are basically the size of shipping containers. And these shipping containers were converted into these housing units where they cost $600,000 to build for each unit. Now, you might have just spit out your coffee, and you might have thought that I misspoke there. No. You know the shipping containers? We've all seen them on the back of trucks. Yeah, $600,000 to convert them into housing for the homeless. They get a coffee shop there. They get recreational facilities. If you haven't seen the video of them showing the housing that they're getting, let me tell you, it's nice. It's freaking nice. They're living better than a lot of Americans are. It's so crazy. Stone IPA, yes-sirree. This is the good stuff. I think the beard gets so thick, it's the Stone IPA. We do have Bald Bradshaw merch. Mine is just disgusting because it gets hot in here and is drenched in sweat. Not to give you too much information, but it is disgusting stuff. So we needed a clean shirt. I got to show up dressed to impress. Not like Zelensky, who showed up in freaking cargo pants yesterday to a freaking NATO summit. So we do have some news as of 15 minutes ago, where on MSNBC, a top Biden advisor blames Biden's obvious cognitive decline on all the back and forth travel, a cold, and trying not to lose his voice, and claims Biden is currently sharp, fit, and on top of his game. Folks, this is breaking news. This just happened about 15 minutes ago.
Look, I thought, as the president said, he had a bad night. His practices were better, and he was tired from all the back and forth travel around the world, and was suffering from a cold that really constrained his voice and constrained his ability to be forceful in the debate. And he was trying not to lose his voice, which was very scratchy and very impacted by his cold. But the president is absolutely sharp, fit, on top of his game. Look, I thought, as the president...
Did we not call it? We were all here. We were all here last week. I said, what was going to happen? You're going to see a slow shift that he had a bad night, right? And they're going to get behind him. He's fit. He's sharp. No. You saw the press briefing. He's good. Now wait till he does a debate and has a mediocre night as well. Now look at the poll here. Look at the poll. NPR, CBS News. 50%, 48% within margin of error, meaning Biden and Trump are hand in hand. They're tied, basically. You have a guy that's 100% Joe Biden, not fit to hold office. Brain ain't functioning correctly. Has access to nuclear codes, making decisions. Clearly, the decision making is terrible, the way that everything's being heading. And we're being told that he's fit, he's sharp, you guys. Still, they've gone back to gaslighting us again. You're also going to love this one, you guys. This is also breaking news here. There's some terror ties going in. Speaking of illegal immigration, I'll make sure we give you guys the most up-to-date stuff that's going into the weekend here, since it's Friday, and we tend to have our last show on Friday. We do some sprinkling of stuff on Saturdays and Sundays. The Biden administration has arrested just 16 of the 400-plus illegal aliens smuggled into the country by ISIS-K terrorists in recent weeks. Here we go.
The U.S. has arrested at least 16 suspected terrorists with connections to ISIS who entered the country illegally. Now, they are part of roughly 400 migrants believed to have been smuggled into the U.S. by ISIS terrorists. Right now, the government is still...
Bring in the receipts. That's just 400. By the way, that's just those that are connected to ISIS. Doesn't talk about the Iranian and the Houthis. Doesn't talk about these other small outgrowths of these other terrorist groups that are being funded by the Iranians. It's just 400 that we know of. Yeah. Huh. It's not happening, though, you guys. We were told by Joe Biden himself, it's not that many. It's not happening. It's not real. No, it was echoed by DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The border's secure, you guys. If it's so secure, how the fuck did this happen? As if 9/11 never happened. As if, like, thousands of people didn't die from terrorists. Let's just forget about it. But don't worry, you to get on an airplane, you got to show an ID. You to get some Sudafed, you got to show an ID. But these people are going to vote.
Still on the hunt for 50 suspected terrorists from that group still hiding out somewhere, they believe, in the U.S. The U.S. has arrested at least...
You know, I would say just on that alone, isn't that kind of grounds not to vote for Joey? How is this not, like, front page news that there's terrorists in the United States, that we actually gave up some freedoms. Wasn't the Patriot Act that we gave up freedoms regarding what happened in 9/11? And that we're just basically saying, forget about it. It's fine. We'll just allow them to sit here and we'll harbor them. We said, according to the CIA, that there's people that were a part of the Benghazi attack that have committed murders around the world that are here right now illegally. They're living in this country. And by the way, it's not like we don't know where they are. We actually know their address. It's not that we just even know their address. We actually know the license plate of the car they drive. And we're allowing them to stay here, you guys. It's just wonderful stuff. So Biden's campaign co-chair, Chris Coons, who we've seen a lot here on the show, this guy's a psycho, gushes over Biden's incoherent, rambling press conference, his first solo press conference in 8 months. The reason why I'm showing this to you, because, again, I want to see what the messaging is going to be going into the weekend. And also, jean-pierre has a gaggle today, and it kind of gives a little bit of a insight of how she is going to respond to all these things as well. So here we go. Here's his campaign. Jeez.
Are you still riding with Biden this morning after the press conference?
Absolutely. Look, Sarah, that was an impressive hour-long press conference. I'll remind you, this week was NATO week. There were 31 other NATO nations whose heads of state were in Washington all week, and several other Indo-Pacific observer countries. So President Biden went from meeting to meeting, speech to speech in his official role as our president, while also making time to do campaign events.
Are you still riding with Biden this
morning? It's not impressive. It's really not. It's cringy. It's hard to watch. Yesterday was hard to watch. I couldn't follow what the president was saying. He started recalling like this information, but wasn't tying it in well. But he's coherent. He's sharp. He's the strongest he's ever been. And this guy says that how do I phrase this? This guy's playing it off like Joe Biden's sharp, he's fit, there's nothing wrong with him, right? But Chris Coons denies that top Democrats are complicit in covering up Biden's obvious cognitive decline. So now they're just going to sit there and gaslight all you, while 2.5 weeks ago, we were talking about cheap fakes, deep fakes, but they get away with this type of stuff. So here's CNN, and here's Chris Coons once again.
There are some angry and stunned Democrats that are kind of blaming Biden's closest advisors for shielding him from the public and for the full extent of what he has been going through, which they call the president's decline. One of the top Democrats in close touch with Biden's inner circle advisors told CNN, everyone who expresses any level of suspicion or contrary views, they call everyone and they beat the S out of them and say, stay on message. These are people who are trying to get a message to Joe Biden, and they feel like they're not being heard. What do you say to them?
Well, Sarah, you can put anonymous quotes up here day after day after day, and I can tell you
it's not just anonymous, though, Senator. It's not just anonymous. People have come out full. I'll let you answer the question, but it isn't just anonymous. That was one person.
You didn't let me finish answering.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sarah?
Go ahead.
No, you ask your questions.
No, I just said it's not just anonymous. We've seen 17 members of Congress come out publicly and say this, including a high-ranking member, the top member of the Intel committee coming out, Jim Himes. So what do you say to them? How do you convince them that Biden is the person that needs to be have all the horses behind him?
Okay, now that's two different issues. Let me speak to the first and then the second, okay? You put out an anonymous quote that someone claims that Biden's aides are shielding him and beating the stuffing out of them when they try to express something. I was personally on a call that lasted well over an hour last Saturday where our president kept asking for input, asking for, give it to me straight, tell us what you're hearing. And I told him directly, I read him two texts, one from a longtime friend of mine and his, who is urging him to get out of the race, and another from a close friend and supporter who's urging him to fight hard and stay in.
Yo, these people get paid a lot of money, you guys. A lot of money. So, because Joe Biden's having a cognitive decline, they're trying to make it seem like he's sharp, right? And then on the other side of things, the Democrats are working behind closed doors with allegedly Obama and the Clintons now to try to remove Joe Biden from the ticket and try to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, as we saw. Isn't this like a story or a TV show that you would see on Netflix? Like the weaving in and out of the narratives and the media and the DNC and what's going on. I mean, you are watching, like I said, the Truman Show, basically. So with all this weaving and replacing, it's creating basically a rift and grudges inside the White House. And the Daily Mail is reporting as of 30 minutes ago that Jill Biden's grudge against Kamala Harris has been revealed, where power-hungry First Lady's grudge is so deep that the only thing worse than Joe stepping down is the VP replacing him. This is breaking news, folks, right here. We got more drama in the White House. The drama previously was between John Kirby and Karine Jean-Pierre. That drama is still going on, by the way. And that's why they've been sharing the podium every now and then, because John Kirby, as much as we hate him, is a better speaker than Karine Jean-Pierre. But also John Kirby is getting FaceTime with the president. And he was deemed by Joe Biden himself through a source that John Kirby's his favorite and Karine Jean-Pierre sucks. So Karine Jean-Pierre is not a fan of John Kirby whatsoever. So when Kamala Harris took to the stage during a Democratic primary debate before the 2020 election and implied that Joe Biden was racist, his wife Jill's response was crystal clear, go fuck yourself. And then future lady vented, and she allegedly admitted during a conference call with supporters. Yeah, a lot of people forget that this lady, meaning Kamala Harris, was touting through the entire campaign in 2020, I guess 2019, that Joe Biden was a racist. And then he gets put in office and she's been asked to be his vice president. All of a sudden, he's not racist anymore. It's amazing how that works out, right? In the same way that illegal immigrants coming across the border, Donald Trump wanting to lock up the border and figure the whole ish out, that was xenophobic, it was racist, and all these things, locking people up in cages, all this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, it's not racist anymore that Joe Biden does it, right? It wasn't racist when Barack Obama was separating kids from their families, putting people in cages, having them drink out of toilets like AOC was saying Donald Trump was doing. None of that was racist. Trump does it, it's racist. Joe Biden does it, it's no longer racist again. It's really weird how all that works out. You guys see that, right? It's not just me. I think y'all see that as well. So she's basically getting behind a racist, I guess. And the relationship between the two women that began badly enough during that contentious battle for the president nomination has only gone downhill from there. It's amazing how all this comes out, right? We've had 3.5 years, but nobody in the media wanted to release it then. Nobody wanted to talk about that stuff. It's like George Clooney, right? Holding on to the fact for 3 weeks minimum that Joe Biden has cognitive decline. And what we saw in the debate is what he looks like in real life. Where were you 3 weeks ago, George? Where were you? You saw this guy before and you're acting like, oh, all of a sudden he's deranged and, all these things at your fundraiser? Weird. Just shows, again, everybody's complicit in it. Everybody's hiding it up. It shows you what you can do when you have an entire party, the intelligence apparatus behind you, in conjunction with the DNC, the Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas, and the entire Hollywood apparatus behind it. It's just remarkable what you can cover up here in this country. I mean, if that doesn't make you kind of into a conspiracy theorist, everything you've seen the last 3.5 years, I don't know what will. You know what I mean? Now, political insiders have told the Daily Mail, here we go, now we're going to get to the juicy stuff, that Democratic advisors are struggling to push past the powerful role that Joe Biden's loathing of Harris. 59 is playing into Joe's resistance to pass the mantle to his VP. Pressure ratchets up for him to step down as president candidate and allow another Democrat to tackle Donald Trump, according to one former Democrat operative in Jill's circle. Here we go. The woman's long-seated animosity is 100% part of Jill's resistance to having her 81-year-old husband step aside. So basically, she just has a vendetta against her. Like, I ain't letting this bitch step up. Ain't no way she called my husband a racist. I ain't allowing her to do it. And it kind of gives credibility of, again, that inner circle that the media been talking about, that Jill and Hunter will not allow people to get to Joe. As far as Jill, 73, is concerned, the only thing worse than her husband stepping down would be Kamala Harris stepping up to replace him. And you know what? I don't know who would be worse. Maybe the live chat would let us know who's worse. Is Kamala Harris worse or Joe Biden? Let me know in the live chat. Would love to hear from you. Autumn, Rumble's version of paid membership is subscribe. You'll join the Ball Brad Army and Rumble. Locals includes the custom badges, locals, commenting access, and much more. That is true. And the reason why, too, is Rumble takes less of a cut than YouTube does. So YouTube takes a 30% cut, and Rumble takes way less than that. So it allows more money to flow into the show for advertising and things like that. Dizzy and Def is right. Yeah, both are F. Yeah, I do agree. But if you had to pick, let's just pretend. If you had to pick who's worse. Oh, let's see what you guys have to say. Thank you for the commentary. No, thank you for showing up, man. You guys are what makes this fun. This is the community here that we have. It's the community that makes it great. But I'm just thankful you guys are willing to listen to me ramble, rant, and rave. Kamala is much more radical. Whoa, there's a take. His servant says Kamala is much more radical. There might be some truth to that. She just coming from California. Dude, California is like as radical. I think the only other place that's probably more radical than the two places that are probably more radical than California is Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. Those places are like insane. It's hard to pick between brainless and brain dead. Matt, you know what? Maybe we'll do a poll later today on my community tab on YouTube of who people would rather have. You know, would you rather whole thing. They bring the same ruckness. Agent 355, I did not tell you this. Unfortunately, locals took down our page. So I know we're spotlighting it, but yeah, as of yesterday, locals took away my community tab, and I don't know why. They said I did some sort of policy thing, which I didn't do anything. I just posted 2 articles. I literally have not done anything on locals. So as to why I was removed, I don't know. I think the left was attacking us. But yeah, we no longer have a locals community tab. Not sure why. Trying to figure that out. Trying to wait for locals to get back to me on that one. No clue. I'm very near Seattle. Well, I'm sorry about that. Sure. I am so sorry that Seattle's there. So sorry. We will go for another minute or so here, folks. Another minute or so. Just reading your live chats. Thank you so much for always supporting us, guys and gals. Greatly appreciated. Now, if you haven't seen it, you've seen me plug it many of times. You guys wondering how I get this nice cut here? No, we don't go to a barber. See how this is all filled out, nice and clean and cut? Well, we use Patriot Shave, folks. Let me tell you about our sponsor, Patriot Shave. Backed by 2,000 5-star customer reviews and satisfaction guarantee, Patriot Shave offers premium quality razors at affordable prices. But even better, they are a freedom-loving company that is standing up to traditional American values and fighting wokeness. You've seen us plug 1775 coffee before, right? We want to find brands and companies that actually carry our values, but also have a good product. That's Patriot Shave right here. While other big-name razor brands may salute flags of other causes like the trans flag, all these other flags that you see, Patriot Shave is here for you, the hardworking men and women who love this country and who don't want your hard-earned money to support woke causes. So throw your woke razor into the trash can and go to patriotshave.com right now, you guys. You could switch by using code word, rather, switch for 15%. That's patriotshave.com, code switch, all caps, patriotshave.com, code switch. And you can look like Bald Brad here. Look at this cut. You know, we don't comment on the looks too often, but right now that cut is looking good. So if you got a beard, folks, and you want to shave or anything like that, check out a brand that actually carries your values. That's Patriot Shave. Well, folks, that is the show for the day. We're heading into the weekend here. We'll see what comes up of it. Probably won't go live over the weekend, but we'll try to get a video out to you. I'm going to listen to the gaggle today. It's just audio only. I want to see what Cringe says in terms of, Joe Biden calling Zelensky President Putin and all these other things and how she tries to dig herself out of the hole. Sharper than Joe. Wow, Shiv, that is a take. Look at Shiv, can you do the ad reads for me? If you're looking for a razor that's sharper than Joe, well, Patriot Razor is the razor for you, folks. Head over there to the Patriot Razor. Great show, Brad. Everyone, please stay blessed and loved. No, thank you so much, Patrick, for coming in. Dizzy and others, thank you so much for just contributing to the show. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are keeping the lights on here. And everybody that's a member, thank you so much for becoming a member. 99 cents, $4.99.99, doesn't matter. And also, look, it's Bidenomics. We get it. Some people just don't have it in the means to be able to contribute to memberships. You're just hanging out here. That's what this community is for. Please don't feel like you have to. We're demanding of you. Please don't feel that way. You're just watching and hanging out with us. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. How did you like the movie? Oh, wow. Cece recalling the movie that I went and saw the other night. It was okay. It was a rental. I don't know if we can say that anymore, right? Because remember, there's no Blockbuster. Remember when we also used to go like Friday nights to grab a movie with the family, the Blockbuster, and then have it on the shelf. So I still refer to that. It's a Netflix, it's a rental, it's an Amazon Prime. But on Tuesdays they do like $7 movies, like $5 movies, stuff like that. So we felt like it might be worth it, and so I thought it was worth the $7. But I would have been just okay with watching it at home. So if don't pay like $20 for it, but it was okay. The movie that I saw was oh God, what was the name of it? The Quiet Place Day One. So it's cool. A great movie. I'm telling you, Amazon Prime has some great movies. While we're here, might as well pull it up. Really, I want to kind of shout out this movie. Oh gosh, it's about an immigrant that became an astronaut. Amazon Immigrant Astronaut. I forgot the name of it, but I want to plug it because it was a phenomenal movie. A Million Miles Away is what it was called. A Million Miles Away. So if you haven't seen this movie, phenomenal. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. One of the best movies I've seen in years. The inspiring true story of an astronaut, Jose Hernandez, in A Million Miles Away. Look, you might look at it like, oh, well, it's talking about kind of some woke issues. A little bit if you want to twist it, but it's basically a guy that was, trying to become an astronaut, and he does. He grinds forward and he pulls up his bootstraps and gets on with it. So I highly recommend that movie on Amazon Prime if you have it. So with that being said, folks, thank you so much for the support today, all the kindness and love you showed me. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Please stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't get arrested. All right, Patriot Troll. All right, Shib, Neil, Dizzy and Def. Don't do anything dumb. We need you guys here on Monday when we go live once again, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, folks. Be on the lookout on the weekends if we go live. I might go live for Trump's rally tomorrow, but be on the lookout for that. If you're following us over at Rumble, you will know right when we go live. YouTube lags on it, folks, and I'll see you later here on The Ball Brat Show.